Again, when I set this up, two numbers that when I multiply them, I get 70. When I add them, I get 17. And I'm guessing that a lot of you are figuring that one out, yes? Anybody think they have it? Yeah, 7 and 10. I know. So those two numbers are what we're looking for, but that's not my final answer. My final answer is I'm going to take that, because 7 is positive, I'm going to write 2 parentheses out. So this is n plus 7, n plus 10. That becomes my final factored form. So I have a couple different things that you have to do when you're working through these. So today's assignment, when you practice, it's going to be a little bit smaller because you have to do the setup and do all that kind of stuff that goes with it. So again, we do a diamond with an extra line. The end number goes on top. The middle number without the letter goes on the bottom. And the letter that we're using goes in that upper above the extra line. Watch out for signs. Be careful of the plus minus. I need two numbers that multiply to be -3 and add to be +2. Shout it out when you have it. -1 and 3. So then I write my answer as A, because it's -1, -1, and in parentheses, A plus 3, because it's a +3. There is, on occasion, going to be a couple little bumps in the road, and one of the bumps involves a greatest common factor. And so when we look at problems 3 and 4, we're going to have a greatest common factor. We've done that before. Again, reverse distributing. What do each of these numbers share? What factor can I take out of all of them? And hopefully you recognize they're all even, so I can pull out a 2. So I'll put 2 in front, and then I have to figure out what do I multiply 2 by to get 2v squared. That leaves me with a v squared. What do I multiply 2 by to get 8v? That leaves me with a 4v. What do I multiply 2 by to get -64? That leaves me with a -32. That is going to change the answer, the final answer at the end, only in the way that it's going to put a 2 in front of my 2 parentheses. But when I set up my diamond, I'm only going to work with the inside of that problem. So again, the end number goes on the top. The middle number goes on the bottom without the letter. The letter goes above that extra line. And then I have to figure out what two numbers multiply to be -32 and add to be +4. Sometimes when it's hard for me to figure this out, I make an organized list. Some of you might know this already, but sometimes I'll start with just listing all of the factors. I start with 1. 1 times 32 is 32. Can I do anything with 1 and 32 to get 4? No. Then I will do 2 times 16 is 32. Can I do anything with 2 and 16 to get 4? No. And by anything, I mean add or subtract. 3 doesn't work because 3 doesn't go into 32. 4. 4 times 8. Can I do anything with 4 and 8 to get 4? Yes, I can. I can do 8 minus 4. So when I write this in here, I put 8 minus 4. Again, that 2 that we pulled out in the beginning is going to go in the front, and then when I set this up, I write v plus 8, v minus 4 for my final answer. I want to do one more where I have to pull that out, and then I'm going to show you 2 other ones that are a little bit weird, and then I'll let you try on your own. So in number 4, what can be pulled out of all of those? What common factor do they share? 5, beautiful. 5 goes out front, then it's m squared minus 1, that's 1m. It's 1m squared minus 1m minus, now I'll have to figure out what 210 divided by 5 is. I knew it went in there because it ended with 0, but now I might have to do the math to figure out what that is. So 210 divided by 5, I'll pull up my calculator. I think it's 42. And then 5 is going to be in front of the parentheses in my final answer. So I'll make my diamond with the extra line. Negative 42 goes on top, negative 1 on the bottom. M is the letter. Two numbers that multiply to be negative 42, add to be negative 1. Again, if I'm not sure, I'll just go through a list and try a few. I do 1 and 42. That doesn't work. I can't do anything to get 1. 2 and 21. Can't do anything to get 1. I'll try 3. I think it's 3 and 14. Can't do anything to get 1. I don't think 4 goes into it. 5 doesn't go into 42. 6 does. 6 and 7. There I go. If I do 6 minus 7, I'll get negative 1. So it's m plus 6, m minus 7. So there's a little setup. It takes a little bit of time, but just take your time and do it. If you have questions or something's not working, just let me know. The last two kind of funny ones are problems that it's not 3 of them. And it's really important that you figure out what's missing, because everything always goes like a letter squared, then a term that has just a letter, and then a term that has no letter. So I have to rewrite this as, Barrett, are you with me? I have to rewrite this as k squared plus 0k minus 81, because I'm missing the k term. Whereas in this last one, it would be 6b squared plus 36b plus 0. So because that middle number is 0, when I set this up, 0 goes in the middle, negative 81 on the top, k and k, two numbers that multiply to be negative 81 and add to be 0. Because it needs to be 0, I know that the two numbers have to be the same but exact opposites. So this one's going to be a 9 and negative 9. So I do k plus 9, k minus 9. When I do this one, for my setup, because that top number, or that n number is 0, it's 0 on top and 36 on the bottom. And the letter used is B. Now I need to come up with two numbers that multiply to be 0 and add to be 36. 0 times 36. Yep, so I do 0 times 36. Because there is a 6 in front, I need to take this answer, this is a little bit weird one, and divide it by 6. Because there's a 6 in front, I have to divide it by 6 to get my final answer. That one is the only one that has that kind of funkiness to it. But then my answers are, then that part there would be B plus 6. Because I divided that by 6, that 6 has to go on to the other B. So then it's times 6b plus 0. So b plus 6 times 6b plus 0. Again, a little bit weird. I have to divide it out and multiply it through. There is another way to avoid all that work on this type of problem. And that is by going back to what we did originally. What can I take out of both of those? I can take out a 6b. So I take a 6b out and I end up with b plus 6. So these two answers look slightly different, but they're the same. And this number 6 problem is the only one, when you see problems like that, those are the only ones that are going to cause that trouble. Okay? I want you guys to give this a try. You have more on your homework that are like the basic ones, but there is one of the tricky one on there.